Welcome back. Founded in 1991, Minds Matter aimed to mentor high-achieving, low-income high school students in New York with college aspirations but limited resources. It has since expanded to become a national organization with 14 chapters across the United States. Executive Director of Minds Matter NYC, Cosette Gutierrez, joined me to discuss how the program continues to assist New York City students. Cosette, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, what was the motivation behind the establishment of Minds Matter, specifically when we talk about students in New York City?
Yes, so 6 Wall Street professionals realized that they wanted to help these high potential students with mentoring to have them access college. They knew that these students had the potential and the possibility, but not the resources to do it. So thus was formed the organization. And really, our mission is about connecting these driven and determined students with the people, the preparation, and the possibilities so that they can succeed in college, create their futures, and my absolutely favorite part is change the world.
Now, what was so exciting when learning about Minds Matter is that it expanded, far beyond New York City. Can you, tell me a little bit more about that growth?
Sure. So our success here in New York City has led us to become a national organization with 14 chapters. It was really organic. It happened with volunteers who were here in New York City and perhaps moved to another city because of work or life, and they wanted to keep the momentum going. So we have chapters in 14 cities, in wherever you can think of the biggest cities. So Boston, Cleveland, Chicago, Houston, LA, I don't want to forget anybody, Minneapolis, but all the places where we know there's a market for our students that need support. So we're thrilled to be national now.
Now, what are the 4 core beliefs that guide the mission of Minds Matter?
Sure. So we're based on 4 basic beliefs. The first is the power of a college education. We know that education can change everything and that it opens doors of opportunity. So the premise always is, it starts with a college degree. We also believe that all students who desire to pursue higher education should have access to the support, the network, and the connections to make that possible. So finding their best fit 4-year college is really important. We also believe that every student has the opportunity to succeed, and it's very important that, and it happens through a diverse community. So we bring together representatives of all different backgrounds to form this community of success for our students. And last but not least, we know that our community must be a place that closes the opportunity gap and really puts the students' needs first and foremost.
Now, what is the structure of the Minds Matter curriculum specifically for high school students?
Sure. So students apply as freshmen in high school, and they begin their what is now a 7-year journey with us. So 3 years in high school and 3 years in college. Each student is assigned 2 mentors as well as a team leader that really guide them through the work throughout the course of their high school program. It occurs on Saturdays, so we actually meet with students and mentors every Saturday, or as my team says, only 20 Saturdays per year, but it's really about making sure that the student receives unparalleled support, individualized attention, as well as a curriculum that gets them ready for college and beyond.
Now, I want to talk about the fact that it's a 7-year program. I know for a teenager that may seem like a large commitment, but truly what goes into that 7 years, and with that, what are some of the lessons they're learning throughout that journey as they're growing?
Absolutely. Well, time passes pretty quickly, and we tell our students day one that it's really about that commitment for them to grow. And it is 20 Saturdays throughout the academic year, so we follow the New York City public school calendar. So if there's a holiday, there's no Saturday session. And Saturdays are just a wonderful way for the students to come together in this community of this culture of support. In the morning, they'll meet with their mentors. So it's about an hour and a half of the mentors' time, which is, again, also important because they also sign up for this 3-year high school commitment. So the mentors will spend about an hour and a half with the students going through our curriculum. And then in the afternoon, the students have 2 other opportunities of learning. One is SAT prep, because we know how important it is for our students to be prepared for that standardized test. And then the other one is a lesson on writing and critical thinking, making sure that again, they're preparing for college. So it's an investment. We say it's an extra day of school, but the students arrive excited, ready, they get to see their mentors, and we also give them brunch, which is always a great way to get through the day.
Right, I know once you have food, that makes everyone happy, so I know that's important. Now, I want to talk about volunteers. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, and how do they contribute to the organization?
Well, we couldn't do this work without our volunteers. We have 475 professionals from all different walks of life who volunteer with us to be part of our community. And they bring energy and enthusiasm, diversity of experience and thought, and really provide that one-on-one experience for our students. Collectively, our volunteer corps serves over 40,000 hours a year annually in support of our students. So as I said, we can't do this without them. They're truly the heart and soul of Minds Matter. And we were started by volunteers. In fact, some of our chapters nationwide still only have volunteer leaders. New York does have a full staff.
And you know, among these volunteers, are they college students? Are they people who, you know, maybe in the professional world? You know, what does it take to be a really good volunteer?
Well, it takes a few things. First and foremost, commitment. So someone who's going to be there every Saturday that we have session to make sure that they're there for the students. If you can imagine being in high school and you come to the experience and your mentor doesn't show up, so we want to make sure that people are very committed. All of our mentors do have a college degree, since that's one of our first beliefs. It's important that they also bring that to the table because we want them to leverage their experience in helping guide and shape the students. Professional backgrounds varied. It runs the gamut. In fact, part of that diversity of experience is what we want. We want students to hear from bankers and lawyers, doctors, teachers, you know, any profession that you can think of. We want to make sure that students have access to. But as I said, our volunteers, they're just so generous with their time, their energy, and their commitment to making sure that our students have everything that they need to be successful.
Now, you talked about diversity a little bit. I want to touch on that a little bit further. You know, why does Minds Matter emphasize the importance of diversity and empathy in its work?
Well, we believe that the world is diverse, and that thanks to the diversity of our thoughts, we can build, you know, sort of a better place. And it's important for students to see and be surrounded by people that look like them. So myself, for example, as a first-generation Latina college graduate, I think it's important that students can see that with the right preparation, you can do anything that you want. You can achieve your dreams. I grew up in a single mom in a low-income household, and to be executive director today is something that I know only happened as a result of the transformative power of education and being able to see that people of diverse backgrounds can succeed. So whether it's our volunteer corps, our staff, our board of directors, we really believe in bringing together a diverse background so that we can put our best foot forward in delivering the best services for our students.
And you know, I'm curious, when you're working with a vulnerable population, like students who may be gifted but come from low-income backgrounds, so they may not have all the resources, how do you overcome the challenges that you may encounter when you are working with them?
Yes. Well, we try to level the playing field. That's really what the organization is about, and provide as many resources as possible. So one example is giving Metro cards to the students so that they can get to program every Saturday, right? We don't want transportation to be the reason that they don't participate. Providing food and brunch and making sure that they have access to that. And at the college level, we even provide stipends for the students that are in college, because we think it's important for them to have, you know, money on the side for last minute essentials. I remember being in college and having to figure out how was I going to go out for pizza with my friends. So we want to make sure that there's really no reason why the student isn't successful. It's back to that belief of making sure that they have all of the resources so that they can succeed in college.
And I think it's so important when organizations do this kind of work, that nothing just kind of exists on its own. It's all a part of a larger system.
Yes.
So when you like look at things like transportation, that's so important. And it's not something that I even thought about, you know, as we're having a conversation. I love to see that organizations are kind of looking at those other areas that could be affecting a student's success. With that, you know, what's some different or other kinds of support Minds Matters offers to kids?
Sure. So our program is 7 years. So it's 3 years in high school and 4 years in college. And it's really taking the student from high school through college graduation. There's personalized mentoring through the volunteers. We have SAT prep, right back to that importance of that exam, the critical writing feedback. As they get closer to applying to college, we're doing all of the work helping them prepare their college applications, preparing them for the personal statement, helping the families fill out their financial aid forms. Then once they get their decisions back, trying to figure out what is that best fit college, because we also want students to be able to undertake college but not come out with extensive debt, right? So little to no debt is also a priority for us. So making sure that we're advising the students well. And then once they're in college, it's things like helping you navigate campus. It's making sure that we're checking in over the course of the semester to ensure that they're doing their homework and not, you know, not failing, which sometimes happens as a first generation or low income student. Then it's really really about career prep, making sure that they're ready, right? So our college program is really about supporting the student through the experience, but also making sure that they're prepared for what lies ahead once they enter the workforce. Interview prep, networking, you name it, resume support, we're there to support them.
Internships?
Yes, of course, how could I forget? Our corporate partners play a big role in helping our students prepare for that work experience with internships, fellowships. Some of our partners create 1-week experiences during the high school program over breaks for our students. So again, it's really tied to the people, the preparation, and the possibilities, and opening all the doors for our students.
Now, once students kind of go through that entire journey, which is so much transformation, from the age of maybe 13, 14 to maybe 21. What do you hope students within the program kind of, when they are in that early adulthood, leave the program with?
Wow. Well, I want them to believe in themselves, right? And that's one of the things that our community does, is making sure that the students know that there's a full support network behind them, ready to support them in any way possible. So believing in themselves, that there's really nothing that they can't do. I also want them to be ready to give back. And by that, I mean volunteering, supporting our community, being that next mentor. In fact, we have several students, now adults, who have come back to the program to either serve as a mentor, as a team lead, as a program director. And that's my goal. I really want to see us continue to build this community that is ready to return to help the future of our country in terms of our students. So that's the ideal, is seeing our students come back as mentors.
Now, if there are any parents, teachers, or even students themselves watching, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to get involved, and how can they get involved?
Yes. Oh, goodness. There's so many ways. So if you're a student, if you're a freshman in high school, this is your moment. So we recruit the students as freshmen. It'll happen in the spring. And it's important that the students participate in a New York City public school, as well as have a GPA of 3.0 or greater. We accept families from all backgrounds, nationalities, regardless of immigration status. So we want to encourage as many families as possible to apply to the program. Anyone who's interested in learning more about us can find out from their school about the application timeline, or also visit our website, which is mindsmatternewyorkcity.org.
Well, Cosette, I want to thank you so much for joining us and talking about this wonderful program. I think it's so crucial we have, opportunities and just organizations like this for students in our city, because as I mentioned, there's a lot of gifted children here who unfortunately just don't have the resources. So I think organizations like this are really making a difference. And with that, once again, I just want to appreciate you for coming out here and sharing this with BronxNet.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
For more information on Minds Matter NYC and how to be a part of its program, visit the website at mindsmatternyc.org. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Open right after this.